Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by
The Bridge School, the accredited international online private school of choice, at bridgek12.org.
Porch Light Rental and Destination Services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlightrental.com.
And by airs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at airs.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
And by International Auto Source. We are the vehicle experts for expats, featuring all major brands of automobiles with flexible solutions and financing. On the web at intlauto.com.
Become a global player in your field.
Cross Culture to Go provides virtual support for your global business and career success.
We can help you thrive in 140 plus countries and markets.
On the web at crossculturetogo.com.
This is Ed Cohen in San Diego. Today is August 9. Today is FotoTalk again. And this is a series of looking at photos that I've taken or have taken of something else that I really like. And we're putting them together in a series of broadcasts because I don't know what else to do with these, but also it's my take on what these photos represent. I welcome your take. So come on the show, email me anytime, publisher at globalbusiness.media, and let me know your interest to bring some photos on the show and to discuss your take on my take. So this is a portrayal of, as you can see, workplace violence. It could be in home too, God forbid. But this was when there were active shooters out there. And how do you handle that in the office? How do you take care of people? There's a duty of care. So, excuse me. So part of all that is to understand the sequence of how things grow. You can see blue is cooler, yellow get more intense, and into the reds, which is heavy duty violence. And so escalating sequence of workplace violence. So I asked my tech designer, Andy, to come up with something that portrays this, and he's brilliant, and this is what it is. Fascinating, isn't it? Okay, so here we are. This is when we were in Zurich, Switzerland, and visiting good friends, Roland and Monique. They are business people in Zurich. They're natives, and we were guests of theirs. I had produced a conference in Zurich, a corporate conference, and then afterwards we went out to dinner with our friends. Now this is in Milano, Italy, and this was the greeting, the sign in the outside of the meeting room, Sala Cavallo, and that's the room is called Cavallo, and it was in a nice hotel, and there we were, Global Business News. Now here we are in Milano, and this is the world famous Galleria, which is a shopping mall, and it's right in the heart of downtown Milano, and this is a huge complex, and this is afternoon sun coming through on the left, as you could see, and there's shoppers. So this is like a five-star kind of a place, and it's right adjacent to the huge cathedral, which is spectacular. And here we are outside La Strada, which is their famous opera house. And as you see, there's an old streetcar, but they're still using these things today after years and years and years. And it's electrified streetcars. And you see that on the red there, the streetcar says Corso Buenos Aires 36. So Corso means street, and then Buenos Aires is the name of the street, and the car number is 36. So here we are at another live meeting that I produced along with others, and this is in Silicon Valley. Of course, our live meetings, just like everything else, stopped on or about March 1 of 2020. This was about a year and a half prior to that. And this is in Silicon Valley. And we have some famous people there from the relocation industry. And yeah, so I rented a back room of a very nice Italian restaurant. Everybody had a good time. Here we are, same place, longer shot. Now here we are in Washington, D.C. at another global business news meeting. As you can see, our brand is the second one down on the left. And this is in a conference center in Washington, D.C. So here we are in Washington, D.C. in yet another time and another place. So what we have here is a private room where we held a meeting, and some of the people, the second from the left, the woman, the blonde, that's Diane Ayers from Porchlight Rental. And the guy in the beard and suit, he is with PricewaterhouseCoopers. And the second guy from the right is Chuck Brooks, a world famous cybersecurity expert. And the guy on the right is from London, who was visiting. So here we are in the after party in Washington, D.C. And look at that, networking in person. Okay, hopscotching around the world with globalbusinessnews.net. This is a back street in Old Town, Geneva. And those flags represent the country, of course, Switzerland. You see the red with the white cross there. And then those other colorful flags represent the neighborhoods around Geneva. And this is in an Old Town area, which is up on a hill above the lake, Lake Geneva. Okay, so we support Alzheimer's research, as you know, with Find Cures and Find Neural Help. This is the Alzheimer's San Diego walk, and that's, of course, me when I was heavier, and Joanne, and then her daughter, Wendy, and Joanne's sister, Kathy. And we're in Balboa Park getting ready to go for a hike to support Alzheimer's. So this is very famous. It's from Jeff Bezos. And he actually designed this thing. I don't know whether he drew it, but he designed it. And he has meetings, or had meetings when he was active, about how to manage. As you see, the key thing is growth. All right. And then what happens? How do you get to growth according to Amazon? Okay. So you see the revolving things. You have people selling things. Going up is selection. Now, this probably refers to the customers selecting which brand to be interested in. Then on the right, what's the customer experience from that selection? And if it's good, it builds more traffic, and then it goes round and round and round. So in order to get to growth under all of that. They talk about building in lower costs to produce, and then that allows charging lower prices, and that veers down immediately into customer X. And that builds more traffic. Simple, isn't it? Okay, this is a long shot. This is in Barcelona, Spain, which is on the Mediterranean coast. And this is a street, a famous street. It's a walking street called Las Ramblas. And all along there, as you can see, are offices, hotels, apartments, and it's a big tourist thing, but locals use it all the time. It goes from the center of the city down to the port. As you can see, the center city's up on the top and the port was on the bottom, but you can't tell that. Anyway, it's a famous thing. So this was a sign I took a picture of. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving, or else you fall. We've used this before. In fact, it's on our website as a feature story, Black Swan. As you can see, it's reflecting. So Black Swan is a symbol from the insurance business, risk management business, and it has to do with dealing with the implications of a weird thing happen, like an earthquake or a meteor falling on a city and being destructive, or a pandemic, and look at the disruption. So these are called Black Swan events. In other words, creating disruption, awful things, everyone and everything impacted negatively, and then reacting to it. And we're right in the middle of that now. August 9 today, the year of 2021. This is one of my favorite ever photos. It is from a live event that I produced in Boston, and it happened to be on July 14, a few years ago. July 14 is Bastille Day, which is the French national holiday. So naturally, we went to a bar right down the street. So our meeting was produced at the offices of KPMG, and we had a nice group there, and this is some of the people. So on the right is Paul Soley, and then behind him, a smiley guy in glasses, Michael Cadden. And then behind Michael is Elizabeth Soley, and there's me, and there's somebody behind there. I can't tell who that is, I forget. And then the guy in the suit is John Ellis from London, and the guy in the pink shirt smiling is Mike Nolly from Cigna Global, Kathy Hine from Living Abroad, and then on the far left is Ann Ellis. So they're the owners, the Ellises are the owners of Mauve Group, M-A-U-V-E. Good time. And here we are in Boston, and that's part of the Charles River, looking at the beautiful scene, of course, looking at Back Bay. The tall glass building is the John Hancock building. And that older spire to the left is also John Hancock. He was a big guy in Boston going back in the late 1700s, American Revolution time. John Hancock was a very wealthy guy. He was sort of like the Donald Trump of that era, not from a negative point of view, but from business management and promoter. And he was instrumental way back then in shipping between Europe, Africa, and America. We'll leave it at that. So here's the PR from that July 14 Boston event. All those people were our featured leaders And you see the co-sponsors on the bottom. Those days will return, but in hybrid, meaning some people will be in the room and others will not be. They'll be on Zoom. This is a scene from our meeting place, which is a very nice building. And this is overlooking Boston Public Gardens. Beautiful area. And this again is Boston. And this is a long view of the Quincy Market, Faneuil Hall area, and the old Customs Tower straight ahead. This now is in Chicago during one of our Chicago conferences. And this gentleman is Manuel Suevis Tristan, who at the time was executive vice president of Motorola. He's now moved on, and he's vice president of Harvard University in charge of people. This is a fake scene. These are actors in the Boston bar. Cheers. These are not actors. These are live people in our Denver meeting of a few years ago. On the far left is Patrick Cacho from Capri, though, and Sarah Beck, who's now with Workday, and Vinny Valverde is now with Nike. But this was about 5 years ago. Same meeting, as you could see, we were held in the, our meeting was held in the Ernst & Young headquarters, which is that gold sign on the door. And we were having a good time.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a timely announcement.
Hi, I'm Sergei Gorbatov.
I'm Angela Lane.
Together we are researchers, writers and practitioners in the field of human resources.
And we've also been multi-country, multi-assignment career expats.
We owe our professional development and growth to a very large extent to the international assignment opportunities that we have had.
But in a world where distributed work may become the norm, we also want to understand what will happen to the nature, duration, and purpose of international assignments.
Together with our colleague, Julian Dalzell from the University of South Carolina, we're undertaking a study on the future of expatriation.
And we'd value your contribution. You can participate in this important study by completing a simple 10-minute questionnaire.
Access the questionnaire by typing in your browser tinyurl.com/expert study. That's tinyurl.com/expert study. You can also find the link here on Ed's website next to this video.
Thank you for joining us in this study. In return for your contribution, we'll provide you with a copy of our research.
And of course, you'll be invited to an exclusive webinar hosted by Ed, where we will share our findings right here on Global Business News.
And so please go to tinyurl.com/expat study. Take the survey so that we can better understand the future of expatriation.
Something that's really neat is that the Bridge School partners with various organizations to provide learning for their students. For example, we partner with a major ballet company, and we are able to enroll several of their students into our school. So now not only is the student able to participate in a school and have a seamless transition while they're very active in their ballet career, but now they have other dancers that are with them that are doing some of the same courses. So it's almost becoming a camaraderie where they're taking similar courses, they're working together on their ballet, and really being able to form this great partnership with these organizations to provide a needed service. A lot of times there are student athletes who will spend hours and hours at the gym or at the basketball courts, wherever it is. And if they're attending a traditional school, they're in school from 8 to 3. They get a quick snack, and then they're at the gym for 3 to 4 hours in the evening. Coming to us and having that partnership, they're able to break that up throughout the day. They can have a morning practice, get some schooling in, have an afternoon practice, finish their schooling in the evening. So there's that flexibility. And additionally, if there are tournaments or performances, it's fantastic because if there's a week where they have shows straight through, they can take that week off of learning and then pick back up when they're done. So it offers this great flexibility. And for the program owners of these sports leagues, it is a win-win situation for them because they see this need. They see this need that their students need to make sure that they are obtaining the grades necessary to be successful adults in our country and in other countries. But it provides them an environment where they can be successful at both.
This is one of my favorite people, Fiona Sitkin, Dr. Sitkin. Fiona is a speaker and a trainer, and there she is on the far right, in the middle. But she wrote this book, and this is all about, as you could see, women who immigrated to the U.S., and all of them were fabulous business people. And she wrote about it. And Fiona Sitkin and I have had conversations in person at our live meetings and also on our radio show and more recently on our global TV talk show. Thank you, Dr. Sitkin. So here we are back in Geneva, Switzerland, and this is one of our events. And it's mostly guys, but you could see some ladies were there. And in the far left in the background, you see Pierre Geronimo from the relocation industry, and Mr. Doherty, and some of the people from around Europe. And here is our place of the meeting. We were fortunate to be held in the Geneva Forum. You could see Forum Genève. Centre de Conferences, and this is Credit Suisse banking headquarters. And there we were, right there. Credit Suisse and Global Business News. Well, okay, we're going to jump around the world here. This is in the Honolulu Zoo. A couple of years ago, I think maybe 3 years ago. And of course, I love giraffes. So there's Jerry reaching up, striving for that fruit. Well, we're back in Milan, and this is now nighttime. And I wanted to capture, you saw the earlier shot, almost the same shot, but a few hours earlier when the sun was setting from the left, and now here it is nighttime. You can see what it looks like. Quite a place. Now here's inside the Milan meeting that we produced. As you can see, it was well attended, and that's our meeting group, big U-shaped meeting room, and that was in Milan, Italy. And continuing back in Silicon Valley, these are hungry people. Actually, they're not hungry anymore. All the plates are empty. Okay, this is a shot from Harbor Island in San Diego. As I said, we are all over the place. And this is a few months ago, sunny day, looking towards downtown San Diego. Now, this is one of my favorite pictures. This is the Stars and Stripes. In other words, the American flag over the years. And you could see in the upper left, that was one of the first flags, 1775. Then Betsy Ross, Then the 13 colonies in the upper right, that was from 1777. Then the bottom center is the US flag during the Civil War. Civil War was 1860 or so, for a few years. You could see the South seceded, but President Lincoln, did not allow removal of the stars. So it shows 35 stars in that flag. And now to the right, you see the current. And that's FotoTalk for August 9, 2021. Thank you, Producer Paul, for pulling this together. And this is Ed in San Diego, signing off. Ciao.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.